I mean, what I took from that is it's about being practical. Businesses like to learn from other businesses, not getting too highfalutin about it. Small changes can make a real difference. And also, Jen's point about going to where people are rather than expecting people to come to us all the time, whether that's on social media or physically. Okay, well, hopefully we've warmed up the panel and you can see the range that they offer. Are there any questions from the floor that people want to ask at this stage? Right. I don't know. We might be recording, but yeah, use the mic apparently.
Thank you. I'm not sure it's actually a huge question. It's more of an observation, a comment, but I really like the idea of hearing real examples. So I'm a reasonably new business owner. April 20 we started, and we are, I think, tech-enabled. I'm going to say innovative because I think I am, but I don't know. But I guess it's for us, it's the time is huge. I'm here this morning. I've given my time, but I am hoping to take stuff away. But it's tech. Tech is for me. So it was great to hear some thoughts in there earlier. But it's just how can we hear and link with university? I love that idea that you described as well. With the water and the burrito, brilliant. Not anything near that, but the idea of hearing real stories, how it links with university. I'm an alumni here. I've had almost no engagement, and it's not criticism. But I'd love that just to get close to universities, and particularly on tech. Tech's huge. We're cloud enabled. We're on MS, Microsoft for everything. But what is there more that we can do? It's maybe the small differences that you've described, but I want to hear that. But tech is huge for a lot of companies because the processes are there. I use so many systems, but I don't see how can I actually link these things better. I'm not a tech man. I think, I've grown up a tech man, but I don't know how to use those bits better. So I'm not sure there's a question, but it's more of an observation that hearing real, in our example, tech, how can we use it? How can universities who've got huge smart people, the grads who are developing stuff all the time? I'd love to hear that more. So sorry, not sure the question.
I can't resist the temptation. Nick?
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
We'll happily take your alumni details so that we can send those to you. I think the point about engaging with universities is a really crucial thing, and that sort of speaks back to I think creating that ecosystem piece. We can't, as a university, go to every single SME that is in the county. That's just an infeasibly large number. As a way of dealing with it, and that's why events like this are fantastic to bring together the idea about engaging with universities with SMEs, and sort of then figuring out which of the many tens of thousands of SMEs that are in our county who are interested or could potentially have that aptitude or ability to benefit from our academic research. So I think that all the universities in Leicestershire have great expertise, but I think we have distinctive and complementary expertise in a number of areas, which is a good thing, and that's what we're looking to explore and exploit through the Civic University agreement. And then, as I say, engaging in fora like this is the way to go and to make those connections.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any observations from the panel about making connections, I think it was really?
So you talked about engaging with the university to get their ideas. Can I just say, having worked with Generation Z, I think they are the most formidable workforce ever. I think they're hustlers. I think they have a fantastic way of coming up with really, really creative solutions in there. So actually working with the university, I work with Glynis at DMU, and you look at some of the work that the students are doing over there, it is phenomenal. We've brought Gen Z into our business now, and it drives some of the senior management wild because they don't want to conform to the way that we would normally work. They don't want a Monday to Friday 9 to 5. They have different hours, but actually you give them a problem and they'll go completely left field and they'll come out with completely different solutions to it. So it is definitely worthwhile engaging with Gen Z and universities in that.
Any other? Jen?
Really quickly, maybe it's a plug, and people in the room will know much better than I do. But in terms of digital tech, I'm looking over at Salma. There's always been reasonably good provision from in Leicestershire for support around digital tech, and I'm looking, thinking, gosh, I hope it's still on. But is it called Digital Upscaler? Look at her face, like maybe. Yeah, I think if you know where to go, there are programs and support there to help businesses grapple with the tech that they have and try and get that digital tech more up to scratch. I mean, one thing that FSB are really cross about is Help to Grow Digital being pulled. So for us, it was a case of it's pulled because it wasn't working. Well, it wasn't working because it took a while to come out, and then the criteria was too big for most small businesses, and the actual digital tech that you could get through it wasn't quite right. So we're really hopeful that we can lobby government before the budget to try and get a replacement for that, because being able to get an easily accessible, one brand, well-known support mechanism in place, like Help to Grow Management, which obviously isn't perfect, but to help small businesses take on new tech, understand it, implement it, but the tech that they need, not the tech that, government have said, here's the packages you can use. So we'll see what happens with the budget, but I think that's a really important resource locally, is to make sure businesses have access to the products and to the sort of guidance on actually how to use it, which products would work for them best. So maybe it's something which some people in the room would have more information on, but that support that's available, I think would be really good to signpost to that.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Any other questions from the floor? I'm not sure I should be giving you the mic, Sue. Goodness me.
It is a plug, actually. I just want to say, great to see everybody this morning, but we do have the Business Gateway Growth Hub. And again, it's about getting the message out, but what we are is we bring everything together on our website. We have events, we have workshops, but we actually bring together, or try to bring together, all the information that's there for businesses so they can go to one place and see whether there's a workshop that suits their business sector, whether there's an event on that's suitable. So digital, we've had a series of digital programs. We're working with Microsoft. We have a whole range. It's about bringing together the private sector, the public sector, and actually taking that shortcut for business, because we do know you're very busy. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you very much. It's actually a plug as well, just adding on to what Sue's mentioned.
Turn it into a question.
I think listening to the questions and a lot of the comments today, I think it resonates that, watching and seeing other businesses that have benefited from the adoption of automation and tech is something that spurs that spark really in others who are trying to do the same thing. So as part of the Innovation Festival, Lloyds Bank have partnered with the Manufacturing Technology Centre and ANSTI to put on an event on the 15th of Feb, where two businesses who have benefited are actually talking through their journey and their story of how they've automated processes within their business and brought about that change. So that's happening on the 15th of Feb. It's in the afternoon at the Manufacturing Technology Centre in partnership with the LEP, and it's running within these 2 weeks. So if you are a business who are looking to understand and see and listen live how other businesses have done that and successfully adopted tech and automation and changed processes within their business, please do come along. 15th of Feb in the afternoon at the MTC.
Great, thank you. And you are allowed to go out of county as part of the Leicestershire Innovation Festival. So it's all right to go to Coventry, particularly as the MTC is funded by my organisation, Innovate UK. So please do go and see the MTC if you haven't been there. It's great. You've got a question. All right, I believe you.
It's
Question.
It's not a plug, I promise. Although, just to respond to that digital technology point, and really to Sue's point, actually, there is a lot of stuff that goes on with the LEP, very specifically. The LEP are trying to become something called a DSP, a digital skills partner. As part of the whole DCMS piece as well. So there is a lot of stuff that is available there. It is absolutely, and I challenge everyone, to be honest, in this room, to really go to the LEP website, the Business Gateway, and to see what's available, because there is quite a lot there. My question. Here we go again. My question for the panel. Is this? We've heard a lot about innovation. We've heard a lot about productivity. We've heard a couple of examples from Jake about what he's done. How do you sustain it? What do you believe businesses need to do in order to sustain it? And the follow-up question to that is, what do you think technology vendors like Microsoft can do to support as well? Because we've got a lot of information. We've obviously we help a number of small businesses across the country. But what would you like to see from us as well to really support that?
Okay, so how do you sustain an innovative business, and what are the opportunities for Microsoft and other large tech companies to support your work? Sorry.
I think external engagement in innovation is about pump priming. The minute you come in and we actually see a benefit to it, why would I not sustain it? What I'm looking for is that competitive edge. What I'm looking for is that edge that allows me to sustain my business going forward. So if actually the university comes in, we do a project and we benefit from that project, then you've opened up that part in my mind. I think the key question is actually, how do you start it in the first place? How do you get that first innovation project in there, the business to appreciate it, benefit from it, create that pump prime, and then for it to carry on. So once you're in, but it's trying to get in the first place. It's the hard part.
Cheers, Jake. Yeah, and just building on that point, I think looking at the businesses which are in the remit for this discussion, we're talking about a lot of businesses that are 10 people or less. They're going to be the kind of businesses that have preconceptions about digital tech. There's going to be a lot of concerns, I would have thought, typically around obviously high levels of investment potentially, reliability. If we're talking about using devices on the shop floor and things like that, then getting stolen, broken, there's going to be some concerns that need to be reassured before people, I think, are willing to take that step. And that, unless those concerns are sort of fully risk assessed and people feel comfortable that the tech it might fix the solution in the short term, but ultimately it's going to be a longer term issue just to maintain, like you say, and sustain. So tangible examples, again, of these are the things that we have done to take away some of those concerns that you're likely to have is probably a key foundational element to introducing any tech. The likes of yourself, you can see the longer picture, Jake, in terms of how it's going to bring benefits, but other people, other businesses might be more concerned about how it's going to detract or cause issues rather than solve a problem. So as part of any implementation of digital tech, I would have thought true reassurance that those issues can be overcome and will not detract. That's my take on it.
Yeah, just to build on that, it's the examples again, isn't it? It's those tangible, real life examples as well, and how you get them into, like you say, a forum that everybody can, visualize those. I think that's a really important part of it.
I think I'll come from it from there's very obvious examples where you're either in an industry that requires innovation in a technical capacity, from a very small business that doesn't necessarily get involved in anything too technical. Those smaller parts that you talked about, where they could really improve their business in just everyday processes, where tech could really help them, but it's quite daunting to get it started.
it's absolutely a habit forming. You know, innovation is a skill. It's something that can be learned. It's something that can be practiced. And once they get in the habit of using things, then obviously that's the same as any habit. And I think the problem when something new comes to our businesses is that we all want to use it and we all know it could help. But there isn't enough support, I don't think, about the actual implementation of that. The amount of time it takes to form a habit, the amount of time it takes to ingrain that habit in your employees. And I don't think many people allocate enough time to invest in that. So, you know, we've all been there. You buy a new system and it's going to be great. It's going to give you all the data you need. And you just need people to fill it out, you know, CRM salespeople. Just need them to fill it out. It's really easy. People just fill out the system. But, you know, ultimately, they know it's not your priority. They because you don't ask about it until things are going wrong. So actually, what we need to do is create space for them to not tell them to do it, but allow them to carve out a space on Friday mornings when there probably aren't many sales happening, to allow them a space to all collaboratively say, right, well, we're taking time out your day now, everyone fill in their CRM system, you know. It's very small basic things, but if we can help on support that goes into habit forming and how long it takes to really do that, how long it takes to implement something even so small as, you know, the basic things we all use on Microsoft once we start using them, but it takes, you know, a number of times to do that. So we've got to get more support in on that.
Well, lots been said. So only to add to that, you know, I think if you're a self-employed person or a very small business, you don't have an IT department at the end of the phone. You don't have somebody you can just call up and, you know, say, I mean, I have an IT department. I'm calling them every day. So I can't imagine what it's like, you know, being on your own. So it's been spoken about, you know, how does a small business know what tech to get? How do they install it? Does it speak to the other systems that they use? You know, is this part of a much wider piece? Or if you just bought some tech and then thought, I don't really know, you then cause more problems because you've got two or three or more separate systems that aren't speaking to each other. So having that ecosystem locally and from Microsoft, you know, the helpline support available so that whatever time of day, because small business owners and self-employed do not work 9 to 5, they can pick up the phone and say, can you help me out with this? You know, and I know that is very resource intensive. However, having that helpline, an advice line to be able to say, look, can you just talk me through this, you know, connect remotely, because you can run a webinar and you can hear about, you know, all about this Microsoft Teams, but it's only when you're actually using it that a small business owner will think, oh, I've just got this silly question. If that support is there from Microsoft themselves or, you know, from whoever's created that package, but also if we've got that local ecosystem so that people are speaking to their peers, going to networking events and finding people who perhaps have a similar business and who've just implemented something really helpful. If we're talking about that, if we're creating the space for self-employed people and very small business owners to share what's working for them. Hopefully that's, you know, two really helpful places that a small business can go, which will give that sort of sustainability of the product and of the processes and the programs that they're using. So I hope that that's not just random waffle.
Yeah,
but.
Great, thanks, Jen. So what I took from that was show it works and it will be sustainable. Address and don't say it's all going to be dead easy when you know it's not going to be. So be honest about that. Really important about, I think, taking people with you. That, you know, if the CRM, I plead guilty, is an extra thing where you can see no benefit from it, why are you going to use it? It's not human nature. And that whole point about having a supportive ecosystem, whether it's from the vendor itself or just a wider group of people you can talk to. We'll draw it to a close now. Thank you so much, panel. Really interesting discussion. Some really great insights, I think. So I think we've got coffee next, have we? Coffee, George is nodding. We have coffee next. So if we can thank the panel very much.